Last but not least, Pierre Poilievre promises tax cuts so Canadians can afford life again. This was an interesting moment and statement he made here. I've said it many times, we will be cutting income tax, Poilievre said. We have to because the working poor can't afford to pay their bills because they lose so much. You make it and Trudeau takes it. We have to cut taxes to reward hard work.
So this is something that I thought was interesting because last year, and I think I brought this up on the show last year, was the fact that the food banks themselves said, we don't want more funding. We are supposed to be the last line of defense for hunger. We don't want you to pour more money into food banks because we are not supposed to be a restaurant. We're supposed to be the last line of defense. And so they said, we don't want this. We don't want your funding. We want you to fix the upstream effects that are causing people to use our service. Because ideally, in a perfect world, we would be out of business. We would not be serving food. And instead, they have just doubled and tripled the amount of people coming into food banks, depending on where you're at in this country. And so they outright rejected the money that was coming from Trudeau in the sense of they did so philosophically, but in reality, they realized people need to eat. Yeah. So they took the money to actually buy the food.
Well, I think it was on the episode that I was on last that you had said, rather than create all these different benefits or tax credits within the government, just tax us less so we can choose how we want to spend our money.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what he's basically saying with this, is that we need to be able to have more money in our pockets to make our own decisions. And it's funny because I keep seeing all these memes come up, and it's different caricatures of Trudeau, either with a money bag or with a wallet or whatever. God, yeah. And it's the same message. They say, oh, he's so generous. And the other person goes, isn't that your wallet? Yeah. And it's like, yep. Exactly.
Well, that was interesting too. He also added to these comments, which I think really stood out because this promises axe the tax. And he came out and said, axing the carbon tax, it will not be enough. We need to cut income tax as well.
And that's right.
And that was the interesting thing is, like, you know, we love her so much. Vicky Campbell on X there, really found a way to hate on this, as she usually does, and says, like, well, you know, she's only going to give those tax cuts to wealthy people. You know, and that's this is the rhetoric that's been coming out of the left, is they're finding a way to get mad about him cutting income taxes. It's like, well, that's why he's going to cut income taxes and he's cut all the services you love. And it's just like, oh my gosh, here we go. And that's what, that will be the rhetoric when he gets in power. That will happen. I get it, but man, it's annoying.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that he is going to cut a lot of services. He has to. We've had governments that have gotten in power, or government, I should say, that has gotten in power, that has completely thrown the idea of a balanced budget out the window, and then some. Yeah, literally punted it.
I mean, never intended to balance them.
And well, they balance themselves, you know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, he is going to cut a lot of things, and unfortunately, I know I had said this to you before, Josh, that it's going to hurt the people on the margins. That's what it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those things where people are going to point to that and say, look, you know, the lower class is now worse off than they were before. And I think that what it's going to be is it's going to be a Hail Mary to save the middle class, because what's happening right now is you're ripping the middle class in, I'd probably say like 80-20, where 20% is now in the upper class and the other 80% is now in the lower income bracket, because of all these policies and all this spending that we have in front of us right now. Yeah. So I think that it's going to be a Hail Mary to save the middle class. And I think it's going to come at the expense of the lower income folks. And unfortunately, they're going to lose a lot of services that they get right now. And it's going to be painful. And it's going to be awful. But it's not going to be because of him. It's going to be because of the spending and the recklessness of the former prime minister. And I worry that everybody's going to look at him and say, look what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as, they're going to be upset because they're not going to get their rebates, right? So that's going to be a rattle. But
I said this before too, like the fact that a quarter of Canadians actually qualified for the grocery rebate is horrific.
Yeah.
Do you know how little money you have to make to qualify for that? That's disturbing. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at that and I see the other rebate programs that they put in place, like different rebates for heating, exactly. Yeah. If people are living off that amount, that's so worrisome.
Oh, well, they're not. They're living off debt with the inability to pay it off like you knew you were going to have.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's that's kind of where it's at, and that's the messaging that we're seeing, unfortunately. Yeah. And I do believe, at least we're seeing from polls, that people know that what we currently have cannot continue, which is the reality. We're going to have to live with it for a little bit longer. Yeah. And so we just got to hope that the promises come through, and that, again, as you said, the Hail Mary does succeed, and the middle class is saved. Because as you said, yeah, lower class is gonna get wrecked, but the middle class is what sustains a country. Yeah. And that's unfortunately, like, you're gonna have to. We're on a sinking ship, and the lifeboats are only going out for specific people, as an analogy you used over the phone the other day, and that those lifeboats will be filled by the middle class, unfortunately.
Yeah, because the upper class, the rich folks, they're going to weather it either way. Yeah, they're going to move their stuff around. They're going to take care of themselves. It's the middle class right now that's hurting, and that might not exist if we have any more of this government. And I don't know if that will be just through policies or through self-selection and them leaving, because that's been the thing that I've been hearing a lot. Yeah, is folks who are in the same kind of income bracket that I'm in, or a little bit better, saying, what is left for me in Canada if we have another Trudeau government?
Oh, I've said it myself. I get it.
Yeah. Everybody at this table has said it.
We've all had that conversation at various points. Absolutely.
That was electric, wasn't it? Well, we enjoyed it. Hope you did too. If you did, you can check this video out here to the top right corner, right near my window. Get over. There it is. There it is, right there. And if you liked that, you can also check this one right here. We love you. Have a good one. Peace out.